In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on December 23, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. James Madison versus Air Force. The upcoming Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl is poised to witness a face-off between number 24 ranked James Madison and Air Force, scheduled for Saturday. This marks a significant moment for the Dukes as they make their Football Bowl Subdivision Bowl debut, having emerged as the Sun Belt's top team during the regular season. On the other side, the Falcons exhibited a red-hot performance in the initial 8 games, but experienced a decline as the season progressed. The kickoff is set to take place at Ammon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. James Madison's journey this season bore only one setback: a 26-23 overtime loss to Appalachian State on November 18th. Beyond this defeat, the Dukes navigated an undefeated schedule, showcasing a potent offensive force with an average of 35 points per game. Notably, the passing game played a pivotal role, contributing 288.2 yards per game and 33 touchdowns, surpassing the rushing game that recorded 142.1 yards per game and 17 scores. In their recent clash against Coastal Carolina, the Dukes rebounded emphatically from their sole loss, securing a resounding 56-14 victory. Jordan McLeod spearheaded the offensive charge with 324 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Elijah Sarrett played a significant role, catching 3 of the touchdowns among his 6 receptions, amassing 107 yards. Turning attention to Air Force, their season took a positive turn with an 8-0 start, but their momentum waned after October 28th. The Falcons averaged 28 points per game, with 88.3 passing yards per game, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. On the ground, Air Force demonstrated strength, averaging 275.8 yards per game with 33 touchdowns. However, in their recent encounter against Boise State on November 24th, they trailed 17-6 at halftime and ultimately succumbed to a 27-19 defeat. John Busher recorded 131 pass yards with a pick and just 8 completions, while Dylan Carson led the rushing efforts with 12 carries, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown. This matchup marks the first ever meeting between the 2 schools on the gridiron. Air Force's participation in the Armed Forces Bowl represents their 7th appearance, the most among any team. A notable common opponent this season was Utah State, with Air Force securing a 39-21 victory in mid-September, while James Madison triumphed over them with a score of 45-38 the following week. The inclusion of portal players provides James Madison with a significant advantage, while Air Force faces challenges, including losses on the offensive line and confronting the top run defense in the nation. The Falcons ended the season with 4 consecutive against the spread losses and a 2-5 against the spread record over their last 7 games. Expressing satisfaction about James Madison's deserved opportunity to participate in the bowl, optimism surrounds their postseason debut. Despite the setback against App State in overtime, the Dukes regained momentum with a convincing win over Coastal Carolina. However, the absence of Zach Larrier, who dropped their final 4 games, could pose challenges for Air Force against a formidable James Madison defense. As a result, the James Madison Dukes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. As is the case with several teams in this bowl season, James Madison enters the Armed Forces Bowl with a notable presence in the transfer portal. At the time of the making of this video, 10 of the Dukes' 22 starters are in the transfer portal but are anticipated to participate. Head coach Curt Cignetti, who has accepted the Indiana job, won't be on the sideline, and the Dukes face the absence of their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and quarterback coach. To compensate, the program has hired 5 temporary coaches for their inaugural bowl game. Although these factors may not be determinative, it is expected that the James Madison offense may not operate at full capacity, especially against a robust and physical Air Force defense. The Falcons boast a top 10 rush defense nationally and have limited opponents opponents to fewer than 18 points per game this season. Despite ranking 112th in plays run per game, Air Force holds the 7th position in Football Bowl subdivision in time of possession, emphasizing their methodical, run-first approach. Running the ball 86.8% of the time, the Falcons are anticipated to control the pace of the game, making it challenging for the Dukes to score consistently, even if they manage a few significant offensive plays. However, the Air Force offense faces a formidable challenge from the James Madison defense, which has restricted opponents to a mere 2.1 yards per rush and exerts substantial pressure with an 8.69% sack percentage. The prognosis for the Armed Forces Bowl leans towards a low-scoring and physically intense battle, irrespective of whether the Dukes or the Falcons emerge victorious. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Georgia State versus Utah State. The vibrant atmosphere of college bowl season is currently enveloping the sports world, bringing together mid-major programs in a clash that showcases the intersection of Sun Belt and Mountain West prowess. Specifically, the Georgia State Panthers find themselves in a compelling matchup against the Utah State Aggies, set to unfold in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on a Saturday afternoon, concluding their regular season with a narrow 25-24 loss to Old Dominion on November 25th. The Panthers demonstrated resilience as they covered the 2.5-point underdog line. On the other hand, the Aggies secured a hard-fought victory against New Mexico, prevailing 44-41 in double overtime but falling short of covering the 6.5-point favorite line. Notably, this encounter marks the first meeting between the two programs as Football Bowl subdivision opponents on the gridiron. As the curtain rises on this contest, the Aggies stand in a more favorable form compared to the Panthers, who navigated a challenging stretch to close the season, losing 5 consecutive games, including matchups against formidable opponents like James Madison and LSU. In contrast, Utah State secured their bowl eligibility through late-season success, culminating in 3 wins in the final 4 games after facing initial setbacks with 3 losses in the first 4 attempts. A significant subplot in this matchup is the impact of the transfer portal, a phenomenon increasingly prevalent in the current landscape of college football amid the nil and playoff eras. Notably, Georgia State faces the absence of key contributors, including top rusher Marcus Carroll and leading receiver Robert Lewis, both of whom transferred to Southeastern Conference programs. Carroll, responsible for nearly 1,600 total yards and 13 rushing touchdowns, and Lewis, with 877 receiving yards and 7 scores, leave notable voids in the Panthers lineup. Additional departures, such as right tackle Montavious Cunningham, backup running back KZ Adams, and starting cornerback Bryquis Brown, further compound the challenges for Georgia State. Conversely, Utah State, as of Wednesday night, has only one starter, safety Devin Dye, in the transfer portal. The Aggies face a quarterback dilemma, forced to start their third-string quarterback, Levy Williams, due to injuries sustained by Cooper Legas and McKee Hillstead. Despite his designation as the third-string quarterback, Williams brings a wealth of starting experience from his days at Wyoming. Notably, he played a pivotal role in Wyoming's 2021 Potato Bowl victory, contributing 200 rushing yards and 4 scores on 16 carries. This season, Williams replicated his rushing prowess with 153 yards and 3 scores on 25 carries in a double overtime triumph over New Mexico, securing Utah State's bowl eligibility. With Williams at the helm, the Aggies are poised to deploy a run-heavy strategy, boasting 2 of the Mountain West's top running backs in Davon Booth and Russell Faison, both averaging over 6 yards per carry. The Panthers' defensive vulnerabilities, evident in their rankings outside the top 90 in PPA per rush, stuff rate, and line yards over the last 6 weeks, suggest a challenging task in containing Utah State's potent ground game. While acknowledging the talent of Georgia State quarterback Darren Granger as a versatile passer and runner, concerns arise regarding the Panthers' offensive prowess without their star players. Granger finds himself surrounded by inexperienced running mates in the backfield, lacking the support of his top target and reliable receiver. The absence of key contributors places a considerable burden on the Panthers' offensive capabilities. A critical factor tipping the scales in favor of the Utah State Aggies is the decimation of Georgia State's secondary, with numerous players in that unit transferring. This circumstance positions the Aggies as the frontrunners, substantiated by the initial line favoring the Panthers by 2.5 points. subsequently shifting to the Aggies as 2.5-point favorites. Georgia State enters the bowl game on the back of a 5-game losing streak, while Utah State secured victories in 3 of their last 4 games. Quarterback McKee Hillstead's impressive performance throughout the season further strengthens the Aggies' position, instilling confidence even if he is unable to play, with Levy Williams standing as a solid alternative. As the narrative unfolds, Georgia State's descent in the latter half of the season, coupled with significant losses to the transfer portal, paints a bleak picture for their prospects in this bowl matchup. The departure of key players, including the starting running back and top wide receiver, amplifies the challenges facing the Panthers, who enter the contest devoid of momentum. In contrast, Utah State, despite facing challenges of their own, particularly in the form of a quarterback carousel, boasts the experience of Williams in high-stakes bowl games. In conclusion, the prevailing circumstances favor the Utah State Aggies, whose overall performance down the stretch and motivation to conclude the season with a victory on familiar blue turf position them as the stronger contender. The loss of key players to the transfer portal and Georgia State's recent struggles contribute to a challenging situation for the Panthers. Consequently, we lean towards the Utah State Aggies to secure both the victory and cover the spread as favorites, establishing them as our full game side pick. Turning attention to the over-under aspect, the Aggies, with an 8-3-1 record throughout the regular season, possess offensive weapons that remain largely intact. Conversely, the Panthers find themselves depleted, particularly on the defensive end. While acknowledging the uncertainty of regular season numbers translating into bowl game performance, recent defensive struggles for both teams, with Georgia State allowing 42 points in their last 5 games and Utah State conceding 37 points in their previous 3 games, suggest a potential high-scoring affair. Consequently, our prediction favors over the projected total as our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.